Okay, today we're going to be looking at doing multiplication with decimals. Now the secret to doing multiplication with decimals is to turn them into numbers that aren't decimals anymore. I'll show you what I mean. So here I've got 4.6 and I'm multiplying it by 5.27, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of those decimal places. I'm going to move them out of my question because ain't nobody got time for that. So I'm moving this over here and I'm moving this one 2 spots out of the way over here. Essentially what I've just done is I've turned these into whole numbers by getting rid of the decimal point. And now I'm just going to do multiplication like normal. Now, 7 times 6, 6 sevens are 42, so I'm going to put the 2 down, carry the 4. 7 fours are 28, plus I'm going to be adding my 4, so 28 gives me 32. Cool, oops. Alright, great, I've done the 7. Now I'm going to be doing the 2. So 2 sixes are 12. Oh, got to put a 0 down to show that I'm no longer multiplying by that number. I won't say by my second decimal place because it's not a decimal place anymore. I moved the decimal places out. Now that's my 1s. So now I'm multiplying by 10s. So I'm putting a 0 down as a placeholder. Basically, it's not important what you call them, so long as you put a 0 down as a placeholder when you move over here, and 2 zeros down when you move to this one. Anyway, I'll show you what I mean. So, now 2 sixes are 12, so I'm putting the 2 down and carrying the 1. 2 fours are 8, plus 1 gives me 9. Okay, now I'm moving over to my 5, but because there are 2 numbers after this 5, I have to put 2 zeros down as placeholders to show that I'm actually moving on to the third number across. So 6 fives are 30, so I'm going to put that 0 down, carry the 3. 5 fours are 20, but that will become 23. Okay, cool. As hideous as this looks, what I'm going to do is I'm now going to add these together. So 2 plus 0 gives me 2. 2 plus 2 plus 0 gives me 4. 3 plus 9 gives me 12, so 2, carry the 1. 3 plus 1 is 4, and 2. Okay, now my answer is 24,242, but there were actually decimals in my question. Even though I got rid of them, they can't stay gone forever, so now I'm going to bring them back. So I moved my decimal place to the end of the numbers, right? Okay, so currently it's sitting here over at the end, and I want to move it back into the question. So I'm going to count how many movements my decimal places did. So 1 here, and then 2 here. So 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to move this decimal place 3 spots back in. 1, 2, 3. So now it's going to go here. So this number is actually 24.242. Let me make that a bit bigger so you can tell. Okay, let's try that again. Keeping in mind what we do is we move our decimal places out of the way. Okay, now let's have a go of this one. So here I've got 4.93 and I'm timesing it by 1.52. Again, I want to move those decimal places out of my question. So this one I'm going to be moving 1, 2 spots, and then this one 1, 2 spots as well. Cool, so now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to multiply my numbers as if there were no decimals in the question ever. Cool, so 2 times 3 is 6. 2 9s are 18, carry the 1. 2 4s are 8, plus the 1 is 9. Okay, now I'm going to be multiplying by the 5, so I'm going to put down a 0 as a placeholder to show that I'm now multiplying by the second number. So 5 3s are 15, carry the 1. 9 5s are 45, plus 1 makes it 46, carry the 4. 5 4s are 20, plus 4 gives me 24. Okay, cool, now I'm going to be multiplying by the 1, but because it's the third number, I'm putting down 2 placeholders. Okay, so 1 3s are 3, 1 9s are 9, and 1 4s are 4. Now I'm going to be adding these numbers together. So 6 plus 0 gives me 6. 8 plus 5 gives me 13, so I'm putting a 3 down, carrying the 1. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 6 is 16, plus 3 is 19, carry the 1. 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 9. My brain just stopped working. Hang on, I can do this. 5 plus 9 is 14, carry the 1. And then 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Cool. So my answer isn't 74,936 because as much as I didn't like decimals in my question, there are actually decimals in there. So I need to move them back in. So my decimal point is sitting over here, and I've got to move it 2 spots, 1, 2, and then another 2, 1, 2. So my decimal point is going to be sitting here, so my answer is actually 7.4936. Cool. So the way we do multiplication when there are decimals involved is you move your decimals out of your question. You do your multiplication, and then you move them back in. However many movements happened is how many movements have to happen at the very end. Thank you for watching. Out of the way. Sorry, that's supposed to be an arrow. Ugh. Anyway, all right, so I've moved. Let's try that again. Gosh, no wonder I don't teach art. I don't even draw an arrow. Anyway, let's try that again.